And yeah, I had to bring back the memories today of our former WWE superstar who is no longer around the company because of, a domestic violence scandal. Issue he had later last year. I can't remember how's it been now for which one. Well, anyways, came up with that entrance because my good friend King Larry here on YouTube, not sure if he saw that entrance. If he comes on, I will put it over, but I remember saying in the comments section how I did try to imitate his dance in my video I made earlier this year on my thoughts of his release and whatnot. Well, mutually agreeing to part ways with WWE. I remember doing that. I remember saying that, yeah, I didn't feel like I got the moves down too good in that video. Because I remember that was still during a time where, so I said this 4 months ago, like I suffered a knee injury about 2 years ago. And it took me about 2 years before I got like the full confidence back to not feel like I needed to be like so cautious on that knee for a while. Because it was the first time I really ever had a knee injury. So that was during a time where I was still like trying to be goofy but be careful because I still was getting the confidence back. I finally felt like I got a confidence back before I started playing softball. But anyways, I thought, you know what? Since I got that confidence back, why not take another crack at it today? And I felt for the most part, despite being in jeans, did pretty good with that entrance. So Larry, if he catches now or catches later, I'll have to say, hey, yeah, make sure to catch that entrance because I think I killed it, except for the split. I did not want to do the split. One, again, I'm in jeans. Two, not as flexible or agile as I used to be since I was in the martial arts for 10 years. And I've been out for, let me see here, 6 years already. Wow, I can't been already out of the martial arts for 6 years. But guys, anyways, what's going on? This is a Club of the Man 1993 coming at you for my live review of tonight's edition of SmackDown Live, the October 30th, 2018 edition of SmackDown Live. Since more people watch my Raw and SmackDown reviews, first off, happy Halloween to you all. As tomorrow is Halloween. I mean, I'm not going to really do anything. I don't go trick or treat or anything, but I'll probably throw my Ed costume back on while I give out candy to the kids. Well, we won't get too many in my neighborhood anyways. But also, I'll probably just chill with my parents, playing Skippo, watching Survivor. I will be catching, of course, NXT UK 205 Live and NXT sometime tomorrow night. So probably maybe like 11 o'clock, I'd say we'll start the trifecta reviews for Wednesday nights as usual. And of course, also, if you saw that I uploaded levels 5 through 7 of Halloween 3D, I'll try to do both 8 and 9 after this review tonight to complete that short mod for that Let's Play. We can wrap that up. If not, I'll complete them tomorrow. My goal is to have the last 2 levels done before the end of tomorrow night, since it's my Halloween treat for this channel. But anyways, we're here to talk wrestling, not video games. So we're here for my live review from SmackDown Live again. This is the Fallout show from Evolution and the Go Home show for Crown Jewel, which I'm glad I'll be able to say that and get that off my chest because after Friday, Crown Jewel will be over, as I've been just disgusted with this pay-per-view in general. Again, I still can't believe it's taking place again, still in Saudi Arabia, but thank God. High respect to Daniel Bryan and John Cena for speaking up how they refuse to go because, what's going on over there. And maybe they don't feel safe. So last night, again, I will say this, though. The way they kind of replaced the both of them at Crown Jewel could have been a little bit better. I mean, I can't take away. We got an excellent match on SmackDown Live tonight between him and AJ Styles. But it was a little awkward with how they replaced him, and I'll explain why when we get to that. But overall, though, I remember SmackDown Live 1000, again, was a decent to solid show. Again, for an anniversary show, I expected a little bit more. Like some felt it was missing, but again, it wasn't as bad as Raw 25 was. And last week's edition of SmackDown Live was one of those shows that it was very skippable. It wasn't terrible, but just nothing happened. It kind of felt like a little bit of like a solid house show. It felt like last week. This week, though, we had stuff that mattered. Had some things I didn't really like too much, but we still had stuff. Stuff felt like on this show that mattered. And that's what I like. So what wasn't an A-level show, in my opinion, but it was definitely at least on a good level. So I'll give you my grade, of course, towards the end of that show. End of the show, it will go from there. Live chat. Who do we got here to live chat? We got Killer Games. What is going on, Killer Games? Haven't seen you for a while, my friend. Says I have to sit here waiting as notifications don't work. That really sucks. Saying he's early. I know, probably with my dancing, you probably saying WTF to that. And yes, also, since it's the first time that you have been able to join me live, he says, get well soon, Roman, as well, which again, yes, of course, we all continue, have our thoughts and prayers for Roman Reigns, or Joe Aniwai, as he is then dealing with his battle with leukemia. We didn't hear anything about that tonight, though. But as I said last night, and last night I was kind of like I get it. You know, Roman Reigns is sick. We do not want to, you know, ever, you know, crap on a guy for being ill like that. But again, I don't like how it does feel like at times WWE kind of rubs it in our face that, hey, you're finally cheering for him now. It's like, okay, we're cheering for the guy, the person himself, not the character, but the actual man, Joe Aniwai himself, not the Roman Reigns character. That's not why we're cheering. We're cheering for Joe Aniwai. So you need to kind of ease down on, you know, kind of like, you know, I mean, yes, you know, they can give us like updates with stuff, but just don't kind of rub it in. Like, I didn't like how they just like stopped everything. Just like show that the crowd was cheering, thank you, Roman. When I was like, it's a physical like actually going, there we go, we're getting our moments. But once again, but yeah, definitely. Once again, this Killer Games brought up again, as always, get well, Roman. But of course, we're talking about SmackDown. That's all we got in the live chat so far. So we'll continue on and see if anybody else joins in the live chat. But let's talk about this episode of SmackDown. Like I said, it was a pretty good episode, and I enjoyed it. I did have a little bit of concern at first because of one of the matches that was announced for tonight before the show started. But we'll get to that later on, because that match was not as painful as it seemed. Even though I got something else to say about that. But anyways, let's get started here. So tonight's episode of SmackDown Live took place in Gainesville, Georgia. In Atlanta, Georgia. Near Gainesville, though, because the guy who's from Gainesville, Georgia, started off the show. AJ Styles comes out. He soaks in the atmosphere. Everybody's cheering for him. Pretty much going to get a good, you know, hometown, you know, welcome. He says he needs to get something off his chest, and he means to say it to his face. So he calls Daniel Bryan out. So Daniel Bryan comes out. Now remember, it had been rumored for a while that both John Cena and Daniel Bryan have both mentioned their concerns that they both refused to go to Crown Jewel if it was still going to be in Saudi Arabia. They refused to go. John Cena got his wish granted, of course, and yesterday he was replaced by Bobby Lashley on Raw for the World Cup tournament. Daniel Bryan, though, was still advertised, so we, of course, had to get through tonight to see if he was still going or not. So Daniel Bryan comes out, and AJ begins saying after what happened last week, he needs to apologize. So for that, he's sorry. And Bryan tells him there's no need to apologize. They're fighting for the same prize, and Styles knows what everybody knows, that Bryan has an infinite respect for him, both as a man, as a competitor. But when he looks at him now, he doesn't see a friend, a colleague. All he sees is the WWE Championship. Of course, so it goes into the story about how, like, you know, that's what kept him fighting to come back, and because he was told he'd never wrestle again and whatnot. And the AJ is the only thing standing in his way of the personal way. He's going to take the title from him. He's going to do it at Crown Jewel on Friday. Once again, because Daniel never lost that championship. He only got it removed from him because he was injured back in 2014. So then AJ Styles then says that's good to know, but let him finish. He's sorry because he lied last week. That Pele kick was no accident. It was meant for Bryan. Nothing personal, but he looks forward to doing it again this Friday. Daniel Bryan acts all mock surprise and says he doesn't lie, so believe him when he says right now that he feels like hitting AJ on purpose. Styles asks, what's stopping you? We don't have to wait till Friday. Let's defend the title right here, right now. So they get ready to fight pretty much, but then Shane McMahon comes out. He says, we've seen this before, two competitors saying they want to go right here, right now, but it never seems to transpire. But this is SmackDown Live, and he's back. So what's going to happen is they're going to have AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship tonight in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's happening right now. So I'm just like, oh, wow. So when they said this match we have right now, they get, oh, maybe this will lead to some type of just an angle to write off Daniel Bryan, so that way he we have a reason for him not to compete at Crown Jewel on Friday. So they have the match. And, during the match, there was one spot in the match where Bryan, was lifted over the ropes, and he kind of landed funny looking on his knee, it looked like. And it was convincing to look that, Bryan kayfabe-wise suffered a knee injury. I believe it was kayfabe. You never know. Again, sometimes things do happen. But AJ Styles targeted that knee for most of the rest of the match. Daniel Bryan kept getting the adrenaline so flowing back in the knee and was able to try to fight back several times. And these guys had some great back and forth counters. They gave them, I'd say, about 30 minutes for this match. And I soaked it in and I enjoyed it. Again, Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles for free. Not a pay-per-view, for free on live TV, on an episode of SmackDown Live. We got it. Kind of got a little bit of like a preview, a taste of it back at the SmackDown after WrestleMania when they faced off in the main event there. But of course, that got interrupted by Shinsuke Nakamura the night he debuted. Sorry, no speak English. But anyway, so I really thought the match was really good. It was no doubt about a match tonight. It showed that these two definitely have great chemistry together, working together. I feel like this fulfilled the title of dream match, I'd say, because again, Nakamura and Styles had some good matches. Well, Last Man Standing was good. The WrestleMania match was good, but we expected better out of them. But I'd still say this, on expectation wise, definitely hit it. And unlike how Styles and Nakamura didn't quite hit expectation wise, of course, because we all probably set our standards a little too high for Styles and Nakamura. But anyways, I thought this match was awesome. Again, I liked how, Daniel Bryan kept fighting through the pain of that injury, even though Styles kept targeting the injury just to, weaken him up. Just both bringing the best out of each other. And some near tap outs. And then of course Styles hit a monstrous Styles clash off of the top rope on the Bryan, and then went right into the calf crusher. I would have liked to have seen Bryan maybe kick out some type of bigger move. Maybe kicked out some type of finisher from AJ Styles. But the psychology that Styles played on the knee for Bryan made sense as well. And he did a Styles clash, and then he put that knee in the calf crusher. And even though some people Samoa Joe, Daniel Bryan, Andrade Cien, almost a few others have tapped out to the calf crusher, I do like that they have been making the calf crusher look a little more effective of a finisher. Because for a while, I'll be honest and say that not too many people were really tapping out to the calf crusher. I mean, I remember Chris Jericho tapping out to the calf crusher. But other than that, Ty Dillinger maybe also. But other than that, I can't remember who else had really tapped out to the calf crusher before. And, obviously having to really work the knee of Daniel Bryan to get him to tap out made sense as well. So to my surprise, there was a clean finish that Daniel Bryan tapped out. Even though, again, I'm not watching Crown Jewel on Friday, I was expecting this match to set up, a future triple threat match between AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, and The Miz. And Miz interfered in the match and, caused a DQ and whatnot. And of course, Daniel Bryan taking a loss is completely fine because he has the character and the story and the momentum to be able to afford losing, and it won't hurt him at all. So Daniel Bryan taps out. I was surprised, like, oh, okay. So I was surprised to see we got a clean finish. After the match, Bryan immediately just gets back up, and Bryan puts his hands out to shake his hand just out of a sign of respect. Styles lays the championship in front of them and shakes hands, and then Styles. And then they embrace. And of course, I'm thinking, oh, don't tell me don't tell me they're going to turn one of them heel. Because, again, Daniel Bryan, he still has that babyface momentum. That babyface momentum has not died off of him yet. So that's why I still think that it's not anytime soon they should turn Daniel Bryan heel. Again, his momentum has to pretty much die out if they ever want to make Daniel Bryan a heel again. AJ Styles, maybe, because Styles showed a little bit like a heel side, I felt, with the promo he got tonight a little bit. Saying how he purposely kicked Bryan in the face that Pele kick. Like he showed a little more of a healer element than Bryan did, of course. But also it's in AJ's hometown. Like, why would they turn him heel in the hometown? Like a prime once again, go back to when they turned Dean Ambrose heel last week, the situation was like perfect to get the heel heat on him. So that was gonna happen. But I felt, okay, Miz is gonna come out or something. But no, a couple days ago, I heard a rumor that Samoa Joe could be out for a while because he had been nursing a foot injury. Joe came out of the crowd in a hoodie and in jeans, and he starts to attack AJ and Brian. Pushes Brian out of the ring. And then he just mounts AJ down, and he starts beating down on him, raining down on him, asking if he forgot. And then he puts a coquina clutch on AJ, but then Brian comes in to save AJ, but then Joe throws maybe I thought it was like kicking the Brian's like bad knee, which it looked like it hurt, but it didn't look like it was like that effective. And he got Brian to pass out to the coquina clutch there. And then he walks away. Now, it was then later on seen that AJ Styles went backstage to talk to Paige, saying, look, I did my obligations. I defended my championship against Daniel Bryan, but now I want Samoa Joe at Crown Jewel. And Paige was like a little resistant to it at first, but then he said something like, well, you could have pressed charges and arrested Samoa Joe last time. He said, but I didn't do that. But now, Samoa Joe's making this personal again, and he wants to give Joe a piece of his mind and whatnot, and just end him for good. So then Paige makes the match official. Instead of going to be Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles at Crown Jewel, it's going to be Samoa Joe and AJ Styles at Crown Jewel. Now the thing is yeah, okay, we had the match. We still got to see the match, not on live TV and not on the network yet to pay money for. We're going to be seeing Styles and Joe again. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Styles would want to get his hands on Joe for what he did to him tonight. But what has stopped WWE in the past, though, from, having, if you've seen it several times, they had the match they were going to have at the go home show before the pay-per-view, and they still did it at the pay-per-view anyways. What's different about it this time? I thought maybe, they would still say that the match was still going to be on, but then if Samoa Joe did a little bit more of a vicious assault on Daniel Bryan's knee, then maybe, that would have been a reason to write Bryan off the match. But just the fact that, in the past, we've seen matches happen before pay-per-view, and then they still have the match at the pay-per-view. So, what was the difference this time? I'm not saying it was awful the way they did it, but again, I just found it a little odd how they did that. It's once again the whole inconsistency factor that I keep talking about. 1 week, this gets a title opportunity, the next week it does not give you a title opportunity. It's where's the consistency here? You know what I mean? But can't take away again. This was an awesome match, and it made me wonder. Of course, again, I'm still saying The Miz needs to win the World Cup. I mean, I don't care for a World Cup, but if anything can benefit from coming out of the World Cup, it would be The Miz winning it, and that will leave him the excuse for him to get into the WWE title picture. And, of course, with Joe now in the mix, we'll probably at some point see a fatal four-way involving Styles, Joe, Bryan, and Miz, where Miz will probably win the championship there. And I was thinking also is, how months ago, first I was saying, maybe they'll have Bryan and Miz have a match where if Bryan loses, he has to leave WWE or leave SmackDown. And then the stacks are up against him. He has to win the Royal Rumble match and win the WWE Championship from The Miz at WrestleMania 35 next year, which either way, it looks like we will probably get in that match, WrestleMania 35, Daniel Bryan versus The Miz for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 35, which would be freaking awesome, especially since I'm going to be there. See Daniel Bryan reclaim the gold that he never lost. So same the IC title, but, that's on Raw right now. So screw that. He wants to be the top guy. He win the world title. Anyways, though, and then I thought, I'm sure, what if they'll have someone else who's kind of, since he's not, they didn't go that route with him, losing his job or whatnot. What if they have some other obstacle he has to get through before he gets to Miz? And I thought at first that could have been Randy Orton. Still could happen, not sure, but since Joe kind of gets so involved with the title picture, what if it's Samoa Joe? What if Samoa Joe is the one that Daniel Bryan feuds with? Well, here's what I can see happening. Maybe Samoa Joe wins Saturday. I mean, I don't know for sure. I mean, Friday. I don't know if he will win or not, but even if he wins, it's going to be a short-lived title. But at least we can say Samoa Joe at one point was the WWE champion. Miz wins it in a fatal four-way match. And then Bryan feuds with Joe, Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber. They don't have to have a pay-per-view match. I mean, either way, the title match happens at Survivor Series or at TLC. They may not be able to have Joe and Bryan on pay-per-view. Well, maybe we'll talk about this. Elimination Chamber. Daniel Bryan wins the Royal Rumble. Elimination Chamber. Bryan fights Joe with his number 1 contendership on the line, and he beats Joe there. Maybe Samoa Joe could be that last obstacle for Bryan before getting to the Miz. Maybe that could be the case going there, but we'll see what happens. But again, great start to the first 45 minutes of SmackDown. We see a segment backstage with Jeff Hardy wondering why people don't learn to draw and talking about how every battle adds a new color to his self-portrait, every leap a paint stroke, and that crown jewel in the World Cup, he'll illustrate his masterpiece and prove that he's the best in the world. Miz is also back to tell us why he's going to win the World Cup. He's the best husband in the world, best father, best reality star, and so on. Of course, he's also the best wrestler in the world, and a crown jewel. He'll get the trophy to prove it, which I'm sure there's a lot more people who could have been in this tournament that are not, that are better than some of these guys, but, you know, it's not the case. So yeah, we're actually getting promos from, like, you know, everyone on SmackDown involved in the World Cup and not just Kurt Angle like we were getting on Raw, which I don't get why it's weird. So at least they were hyping us up for that. We then have another segment backstage with Paige calling Charlotte into her office. Charlotte comes in just dressed in, like, you know, just regular clothes, not in any, you know, outfits, any, you know, wrestling gear or whatnot. She tells her congratulations with her match with Becky, that it was amazing, and she's got a question for her. Will she captain SmackDown's women's team at Survivor Series? Which I'm like, I guess we're still doing a Raw versus SmackDown Survivor Series, but I'll talk about, you know, that more so another time with my predictions. I keep saying that I don't want Survivor Series to be strictly Raw versus SmackDown. Make it like, you know, some Raw versus SmackDown, but other things besides just bragging rights, as I keep saying. I put something else on the line besides the bragging rights. But anyways, Charlotte thanks her and says she doesn't think she's the right woman for the job. Paige says, just remember, Charlotte, you said to not let success get to your head or failure get to her heart. So just think about it. Flair agrees and leaves. We get a video package for DX and Brothers of Destruction, but I don't care. Then the New Day were about to make their entrance for the Trick or Street fight. They did their usual spew, and then it says, "It's a new day." Yes, it is. They came out dressed up as the Brood, and you know, Xavier Woods dressed up as Edge, Big E dressed up as Gangrel, and Kofi Kingston dressed up as Christian. So, of course, you know, again, even though Road Dogg has some say in writing SmackDown, so of course, obviously, you know, Ryan Ward tried to go a little creative with this in some ways, because I might have said this before, but I'm not the biggest fan of these, like, you know, holiday street fight stipulations that they have. I feel like, you know, they're more out here for the comedy, and they just, to me, most of the time, they don't really, you know, entertain me. They just seem like they're more so just for Vince's toy humor. But this one wasn't too bad. I'll give it that. And then out came the Bar with Big Show, but apparently Big Show is officially part of the Bar for now, which again, we never got an explanation of why that happened, but who knows. But the Bar comes out. Sheamus was dressed up as the White Walker or something like that. He looked like he literally just got, like, you know, slammed with like a big bag of flour or something like that. So I thought it was going to be a 6-man tag match. You know, this match kind of felt like a 6-man tag match. The involvement of their superstars, like you know, like right away in the match. But it was just a one-on-one match. You had to pick a member from each team. Big E and Cesaro. Why is Cesaro always seem to be the one who gets involved in these matches? And I think every time he has been, he's come on the losing end. Big E beats him. The match was all right. It wasn't that long. I mean, they had, you know, like, you know, them, like, you know, smashing each other on top of pumpkins. I'm trying to think of what else would happen in there. We had I think Big Show got sprayed with like blood mist or something like that. Xavier Woods got his head like shoved into the pool of apples or whatnot. It was again, you know, they had some still, like, you know, corny moments in the match, but again, it was short, sweet, not too painful to watch. Big E wins the match when he hit the big ending on Cesaro right next to the big stack of jack-o'-lanterns. So not the worst and the most, cringe-worthy, like intelligence insulting holiday match I've seen. But again, I've never really been a big fan of those. Big E wins. They have the tag match on Saturday, on Friday, whenever heck it is, at Crown Jewel, the bar in New Day. So we got that coming up. Before we go to the next hour, let's check the live chat and see what we got. No one knew. Yeah, we had Swifty McNair. What's up, my friend? Saying AJ. And then he said, what was the main event? The main event was the tag team match between Ray and Jeff and Miz and Orton, the 4 contenders from SmackDown for the World Cup. That's what we got. We then had R-Truth versus I'm sorry, I missed something first. Hold on. First, we had the backstage segment where Shane McMahon is talking with the SmackDown entrants in the World Cup. Everybody talks about how they're the best, they're going to win. And Shane has a special announcement for them. He hates when his sister can call one of her Raw superstars the best in the world. And whichever one of them makes it to the finals, if they get beat, they're off SmackDown. So let me get this straight. Everyone else who does not win a match is not going to get fired. But the person who pretty much is the champion on SmackDown when they face off against the Raw superstar that wins on the Raw side, which is most likely going to be Kurt Angle. Like, I'm thinking it's going to be Kurt Angle versus The Miz in the finals of the World Cup. And again, Miz is going to win probably because of interference from Baron Corbin on Kurt Angle. But so basically, the guy who gets all the way to the end and doesn't win can get fired. Like, I found that a little bit odd in some ways. I mean, there really isn't anyone who I feel, could be like, a prime candidate to be in that, situation where you're fired, but I don't think it's going to go into play. Which, I mean, it could go into play maybe with Randy Orton or something like that. I mean, Randy Orton, I feel, would be the closest one to deal with it. I mean, Miz, I don't see him going back to Raw because he just came over, and I feel like he's still in a prominent role with Daniel Bryan, of course, on SmackDown. Jeff Hardy and Rey Mysterio doesn't feel like there'll be anything happening if they would move over to Raw anyway. So I mean, I feel like again, I feel like the Miz is still going to win this again, and just give him a case for him to be in the championship title, the championship rumblings, which would at least make the World Cup not look pointless. But so a little strange that the guy who beats all the other SmackDown stars would get fired if they don't win the World Cup, but we'll see what happens. That was that. Then we have R-Truth taking on Shinsuke Nakamura for the United States Championship. Now, apparently, they said it was supposed to be Ty Dillinger, but Dillinger is apparently still nursing the finger injury that Randy Orton did to him. And I don't know if that he posted some tweet on Twitter about it. I'm not sure if it's going to keep him out a little bit longer than just kayfabe-wise. So I have to look up see what's going on there. So it looks like that they may continue something involving Ty Dillinger and Randy Orton after Crown Jewel, if Dillinger really isn't hurt for real long term, but we'll see what happens. So they gave it to R-Truth instead, which I was cool with that because R-Truth deserves a title opportunity since he's been doing better since he's been on SmackDown Live. But once again, Nakamura on this U.S. title reign is very unforgivable. You forget he's there. He comes out like he's just about to have a filler match. This match was complete filler. They had some dancing moments. They had a dance break in there. R-Truth tried mocking his "Come on!" Wasn't as funny as it the first time though. Nakamura hits the Kinshasa on R-Truth to retain a championship, and that's it. The U.S. title is still pretty much pointless at this point. So that's all I gotta really say about that match. And then we get this Becky Lynch promo. I loved this promo because it was short, it was sweet, it was to the point, and also it was not Becky, being something that was not her. It was her being her and just laying in all the truth. And she kind of acknowledged also that the crowd was excited to see her. She said she won. Folded up like an accordion, beat with a kendo stick, but she got up again, and she's the last woman standing. When Evolution was over and all said and done, only one woman was the rightful main event, and that was her, which is clearly true. And also, she spoke truth that she should have been in the main event, not Ronda Rousey and Nikki Bella. Being Charlotte, the most decorated woman in WWE history, proved that she's the man. She's so bad she could be in detention. Not. And if she has to go around and slap everyone's heads off in the locker room, she will. But what's next? And then the crowd starts chanting, "We want Ronda." And then, Becky pretty much agrees. And then apparently she mentioned how Ronda Rousey claims she is the baddest woman on the planet. But what planet is that exactly on? She didn't come here to play cosplay or talk about a reality show. She's just headed into Survivor Series to rip Ronda's arm off. Microphone drops, raise the title boldly. That was the promo. Short, sweet, to the point, just all Becky or anyone naturally would just want to say. You claim you're the baddest woman on the planet, but look what I'm doing right here, right now. I want to go there and prove you wrong otherwise. It wasn't a pushing on that you got to hate me or whatnot. Just hyping up the fact that, Ronda Rousey and I are going to go to war, and I'm going to prove that I'm the superior one and whatnot. None of this bull crap of, again, here's the thing I keep saying. Becky Lynch as a heel right now with that. Becky Lynch winning against Charlotte clean like she did at the Last Man Standing match felt like whenever AJ Styles beat John Cena at SummerSlam 2016. They were both in a heel role, but it was a what must needed win in some ways for both of them. Well, more so for AJ Styles, like Becky Lynch could have dropped the title back to Charlotte and won the title later on back to her after Survivor Series at TLC or whatnot. But AJ Styles, once again, even though he was a heel, was not pushed on us as a guy that needed to get booed. He was just being, one, an anti-hero, and two, the heel turn was just to light a fire underneath him. Like, he really wasn't doing, he was trying to make a statement. Becky Lynch trying to make a statement too, and she's not doing anything wrong. So when take out the stuff of her, walking away from fights, trying to, being like, trying to tell Charlotte to, settle down and whatnot during the match like she did at Evolution. Take that stuff out. Like, this is perfect. Don't push the fact that this woman is supposed to be a heel. Make her a badass, anti-hero, whatnot, and we're fine. We can live with this, and we can keep going. And when the time is to put her back on full-on babyface again, she can easily transition to that role like AJ Styles did. That is all I'm saying. There's no need to have her walk away from any fight to show that she has weaknesses. Well, again, she's obviously human. She has weaknesses, but don't have her walk away from fights or be a freaking coward. Have her be just dominating and confident like she is. She can call herself the man. Has no problem with me at all. But once again, this way that promo was, once again, short, sweet, to the point. It was natural, and it's exactly what anyone else would say. So props to whoever wrote that promo, even if it was Road Dogg, for crying out loud. But I'm not giving you a lot of praise, Road Dogg. It's exactly how you need to book Becky. Not being a cowardly heel, just being just a badass anti-hero. That's all she needs to be. So thank you. And I hope to get this again next week. And I'm pumped to see her and Ronda at Survivor Series. That will be a dominating kick-ass match. Whether Becky wins or Ronda wins, either way, it's going to be awesome. And it is well worth it for Survivor Series. Heck, I'm going to say it's a main event worthy match. It's probably not going to main event, but that could main event any show. Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch. Take my money. Let's go. This was weird though. First, we had The Miz making his entrance, advertising that the main event was coming up next in the tag team match, tag team match with Hardy and Mysterio taking on Miz and Orton. So Miz comes out. We go to commercial. We come back. We have Samoa Joe backstage cutting a promo on Styles, saying, "Oh, AJ, did you really think they were done? Do his kids sleep soundly at night? Is Wendy still triple checking the locks at night? Oh, Wendy! Did AJ tell them everything was okay? Well, he was wrong. When Shane said he was going to defend against Bryan tonight, Joe knew he had to pick up his pen and write their final chapter, where Styles will be on the ground, gassed out, and Joe will raise the title high above his head. The end. Nice, short, sweet promo. And then we get the heels finishing up their entrances, and then we go to break again. So at 9:30, entrance, promo, entrance, break again. That's not too clean in my honest opinion. That was a little sloppy, I felt. But we had our main event, even though obviously AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan should have been a main event match. But obviously, if they had to make that announcement, a little bit later in the show, that it was going to be changed from Bryan to Joe. Even though, again, it still was a little weird how they did with having have the match and then claim, oh, well, we did the match, so we can't do it Friday at the pay-per-view now. Well, once again, what has stopped you guys from doing that before? I just thought that was a little weird. And even last night too, with having Lashley who had lost last week and this week, even though it was by DQ, have him get a match. But then again, a heel general manager gave him the match from doing the beatdown. But still, if they should have had Lashley win first before the beatdown, they would be replacing Cena. But anyways, Hardy and Mysterio taking on Orton and Miz wasn't a bad match. Not really much to say about it. Had some, I like the parts, of course, wherever a Mysterio was tagged in, and him and Hardy were doing some nice teamwork, having hitting the whisper in the wind or whatnot, or whatever heck it was, onto them in the corners or whatnot, kind of the moves that Trish and Lita were doing. They were tagging in their tag matches on Sunday and Monday, where one's down they just run over their backs and they do again whisper in the wind, of course, because once again Lita was with the Hardy Boys moment. She kind of has the Hardy Boys wrestling style in them as well, since she worked in them early in their careers. But it's a good back and forth action. I believe, yeah. So it eventually led to a Mysterio hitting the teamwork. Mysterio hitting a nice 619 on I believe both. I think just Miz. I don't think Orton was involved in 619 at all. And then Hardy followed with a swanton bomb on top of the Miz to get the victory. But afterwards, Randy Orton comes in, has an RKO on Hardy, then went on Mysterio, and then Miz, who earlier tonight he was making fun of Jeff Hardy and Rey Mysterio, and then when he got about to call Randy Orton a name, Orton got kind of right in his face because Randy Orton is cool. He kind of pats Orton on the back yeah, we did it, buddy. And Orton, of course, who is a heel and a sadistic mind, not looking for any friends. He is a sick-looking RKO on the Miz as well, and Randy Orton remains the last man standing. How far will he get though at the World Cup on Friday? We will see what happens. Once again, I will not know until I see the results, because once again, I'm not watching Crown Jewel. But that's how it went off the air, guys. A pretty good edition of SmackDown, I gotta say. Wasn't A level, but definitely improvement from last week, and some the week before, but definitely improvement from last week's show that was kind of meh. But once again, SmackDown, it's been better lately. It's not going to be great every single week, but we got a good show tonight, and I'm looking forward to getting past Crown Jewel, pretty much. So let's go to the live chat. I mean, not live chat. Let's go to the polls on Twitter first and see what we got here for the polls. So 4 votes so far for Great Review of SmackDown Live. 4 votes. 1 person said C. 3 people said A. Nobody said anything else. And what shows join more Raw or SmackDown Live? 3 votes for SmackDown Live, none for Raw, which I completely agree with that. Raw was, again, had its ups, but it's a lot of filler to it. So SmackDown, for me, definitely takes it this week. And for my grade for SmackDown, I'm going to give it a B. I gave it a B because I thought it was a good show. It wasn't, an A level, but I thought it was a strong show with Styles, getting the reaction he got in his hometown. I mean, Bryan was getting booed during the match, but once again, it's only because they were in Styles' hometown and whatnot. But they had a great match. Of course, I'll put over a Deluxe Man that they are saying that they were having another match again with Styles and Bryan, making an Iron Man match, which I think would work perfectly for the two of them. Stuff with Joe returning in a title match, it was all right. It was what it was. It wasn't anything too fancy because how was Joe getting another title opportunity by just coming back and just beating the hell out of Styles and whatnot. But Styles requested to have the match, so what the champ wants, the champ's gonna get. tag match wasn't too bad between Mysterio, Hardy, and Orton and Miz. US title match is all right. The promo with Becky Lynch was great. The trick or street fight was, swallowable. Let's put it that way. You're able to swallow it. And, I thought it was pretty good. Check the live chat once again. We got Mark in the live chat. What's up, Mark? Oh, first we had Swifty Nathan McNair also saying, I agree. I hope Becky makes Ronda tap out, makes Ready Bad tap out, or Ronda tap out, whatever she's saying. But would be nice to see her get the victory over Ronda. But I think Ronda's probably going to beat Becky. But I have nothing against Becky beating Ronda at all. What's up, Marcus? I feel bad whoever on SmackDown Live makes it to the finals of the Crown Jewel tournament. Again, it just feels weird. Like, why would the person, everybody else is going to be losers, and then the guy who gets to, the championship match, and is, the SmackDown champion, is going to get fired, which, is kind of weird. Didn't no one else get the job also? So, why shouldn't all of them be? If anything, all of them should be fired if Shane McMahon is going to say that. But again, I don't think it's going to happen because I think The Miz, again, the only person I can really see winning this is The Miz. But again, I'm not going to be watching Crown Jewel, so I don't expect nothing out of it. How many more times is Joe going to get a title, get a shot at the WWE title? Again, probably more, because again, I'm pretty sure he's probably going to still be involved with this afterwards. As I said before, he'll probably be in a fatal 4-way match. I said maybe, they'll have Joe feud with Bryan as Bryan's last obstacle before getting to The Miz at WrestleMania. Like, what if they have Bryan versus Bryan? What if Bryan would win the Rumble and then he'd face Joe with his number one contendership on the line at Elimination Chamber or whatever pay-per-view they have. Hopefully it's Elimination Chamber, not Fastlane in February or March, whenever they're going to have whatever pay-per-view they're going to have. And then we have Bryan win the title from The Miz at WrestleMania to culminate their feud. So that's a long-term storytelling I'm going to say happening with that. But yeah, I do agree that how is Joe keep getting these title opportunities. But quiet live chat tonight, but it's okay, guys. It happens at times. But I think I want to check out here now. So guys, what grade would you give SmackDown? I gave SmackDown a B this week, and I enjoyed SmackDown more than Raw this week. And I will probably, since it's 11 o'clock now, I'll try to finish the last 2 maps of Halloween 3D tonight. And stay tuned tomorrow night as I'll do the trifecta, probably around 11 o'clock, I say, of NXT UK, 205 Live, and NXT. Thursday will be a special live stream, and then some other odds then to hear from there. So I will also, again, try to, my plan is I'll probably, since I did the women's, best of bests in October, I think in November I'll do the men's best of bests. That way in December I can focus, not just, again, in December, I don't think I'm going to do all just, once a week special live streams in December. I'll do multiple ones. That way, I can talk about more of the bests of 2018 through my special streams in December. So I'll probably get those topics or even some suggestions for that, from my friends in the live chat as well. So make sure you can leave those as well for what top 10s would you want me to talk about throughout this year. And so, yeah, I'll probably hopefully get a list out to know which top 10s I'm going to do for the month of November. So, guys, once again, be for SmackDown. Enjoy them more than Raw. Leave thoughts down in the comment section below. Be sure to always click my like and subscribe on my channel. Follow me on Twitter at DemandAirBody3. And, guys, I'm checking out. Stay tuned for the last 2 levels of Halloween 3D to get uploaded tonight. So, until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll see you guys all later. Have a great night. And also, if I don't talk to you tomorrow, have a great Halloween, everybody. And peace out, everybody.